Hi, this is Rick, Vintage Oddball Cards. Hope everyone's doing well out there. All right, so for this video, I have a lot to unpack. Hope it's not too long. But before I do that, I'd like to show you a photo of the day, and it's of the great Bill Dickey here. Hall of Fame catcher, putting on his 1930s, putting on his catching gear. Must be spring training, and as a stamp of approval here of the Sporting News, authentic photo from the Sporting News. All right, so what I have to unpack is I had a dilemma, and I think most of us have had this dilemma. If you go to the National, do you pick up a card pre-National? A card that you might not see every day. You might not even see it at the National, at least one you can afford. Do you pick it up, but when you get to the National, you don't have any more money to spend? So that was my dilemma. It was a golden auction about a month ago. There was a Lou Gehrig card, one I've always wanted. I've had opportunities a few times over the years, but I never pulled the trigger, for whatever reason. So I ended up winning this auction. And it's not a cheap card. It basically eliminated me at the National from picking up a big boy card. So I ended up winning the card, and I couldn't sleep all night that night, thinking, did I did the right thing? Where am I going to come up for some more money, just in case I see a card at the National that I just have to have. So I couldn't sleep all night. And then I'm thinking, you know what? I'm hanging with John Mangini, and he's going to have money coming out of his pockets, and I'm going to be there sucking my thumb, and there's no way I can snake a card from him because I don't have the funds to snake it from him. So I ended up winning the card. A couple weeks later, I get the card in the mail, and this card is fantastic. It's better looking in person than it looked on the actual website. But before I show you this card, I have one other card from this issue that I picked up in 2019, and it's the Babe Ruth card, the U.S. Caramel Babe Ruth card. And probably don't see these every day. These don't come up for auction, especially the ones that I can actually afford. And so this is the Ruth I own. Now I own his partner in crime, and that's the Lou Gehrig, 1932 U.S. Caramel. Now, these pop reports total for Lou Gehrig is probably under 200. Probably 10% of what one of his Gowdy cards pop is. So of the cards that I can afford, this particular card, there's probably 20 or 30 of them total that I can even afford. So it kind of limits me when it comes to if I want to pick up one of these cards. It might not come up for auction when I can afford for a couple years. So this one comes up on Golden. I end up winning it. It says here, color added. Now, you're going to say, and my wife said, and if I just looked at it, I'm going to say, well, yeah, right there, color added. But this is a scratch here. Okay, definitely a scratch. If you look at this, these cards are pretty thick compared to most pre-war cards. If you've seen some of the lower graded cards, like there's one on eBay right now, a Jimmy Fox, that has a nice crease right here. And it's a white stands out. Okay, but it says color added. I looked under a loop. I could not find where the color was added. I'm thinking, okay, this is definitely a scratch. Even the Golden said it was a scratch. I'm thinking somewhere in the red here, but I did not see where color was added. So I'm thinking, you know what? It's not going to change this. This card is what it is, but it just kind of makes me think here, who's looking at these cards? Is it some newbie grader? It used to be SGC had 2 or 3 graders. It was known 2 or 3 veteran graders that would be looking at these pre-war cards. And you had confidence, even though you didn't know who these people were, you had confidence that they knew what they were doing. Nowadays, I don't know if I have confidence in what they're doing. We don't know who the graders are. I think I'm going to name this particular video, Where's the Grader Notes? It says here color added, but where is the color added? Okay. Now I could, I'm not, what it's going to cost me, 150, 200 bucks, a card like this to get graded. I snap it out, send it to PSA, but they're in bed with each other, SGC, PSA. And I'm not going to do that, but it just makes you wonder. It just questions what I think of grading, basically. When I'm under a loop, now, not that I look under a loop every day for cards that are, color added, but I didn't see anything on here where color was added. Okay. Now, another thing with these grading companies, it says here 1932. We know for a fact now these are 1933 issues. Okay. But they don't change it. This was recently graded here. They don't change the flip. They keep it at 1932. I guess for being consistency, I guess. But it's a 33 issue. Why do we know that? Well, we know that Hornsby, on the back of his card, it said he was traded in October of 1932. So he was traded. It says it on the back here. Well, obviously, these weren't printed before 1933. It has the season stats of Jimmy Fox for 1932. But the grading companies, they're just not going to, they're just going to, and this is not the only issue where the flip is wrong or what the card actually is or the year. So just not a fan of these grading companies. Okay. I wish they were being, who's grading? I don't know. I'm going on as a rant here, but it's taken away from this card because it's a beautiful card. I'm so happy to have it. It's one I can actually check off my list. Now I have the Ruth and the Gehrig cards, and I think there's not too many people can say of the U.S. Caramel they have both those cards, so it's kind of cool. And it does look better than in person than it did on the website. So these cards, 32 card issue. U.S. Caramel Company is one-hit wonder. I guess kids just didn't like the design. They kind of almost look like Cracker Jack cards. 32 cards to the set, 27 being baseball players, most of them Hall of Famers. All have the red background here. If you turn in all the cards, all 32 cards, you would receive a baseball. Well, of course, to screw the kids, and the U.S. Caramel Company is not the only company to do this. They short printed one of the cards, not card 16, right in the middle, and that's Lindy Lindstrom, the Hall of Fame third baseman, Giants Hall of Famer. There's only 2 that are right now in existence. One was found in 1988. One was found in 1998. So they've definitely short printed them. So you could not complete the set. So there it is again. So happy to pick this up. Now, when you're watching this video right now, I'm going to release it on Wednesday. It's Tuesday night now, Wednesday. I have some cards. I have, how many cards? 4 or 5 cards up on Probstein right now that close tomorrow night, Wednesday. What are they? One Matty card, so a couple T227s, and a couple S74 cards. Because I need to have some, just in case I see something at the National that I can snipe from John Mangini. Hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you in 3 weeks. This is Rick, Vintage Oddball Cards. Bye.